heard stories of men who try to keep their monies away from their wives, and before their wives know, they built a house and they drive in. It's a surprise. Is that a good idea? Or you think some trust issue?
Trust becomes a problem. Sometimes it's genuine desire to surprise your husband,
your wife,
or wife. But if you do not know the type of person you have married, it's not everybody who likes such surprises.
Okay.
And in any case, you are thinking of surprising, but something could happen. And then she finds out you are building.
Yeah.
She knows nothing about
Yeah.
it.
Who is giving you the money?
That could bring you some
friction
or distrust.
I see.
So those kinds of surprises, though you may have a good intention, could backfire.
They are risky.
Yeah. Yes.
I see.
I can't trust you, and that can even hurt you more.
For your good intentions to be miscalculated.
Yeah. And sometimes and it's not like it's different when it's my own name in my own hometown. But it's for us, and it may hurt the woman just as it will hurt the man. Especially when he has that suspicious tendency.
Okay, that's interesting. Back to the story where you joined him. Which country was this though?
The US.
It was the US. Okay. I've heard many ladies say that whereas young ladies are more willing to say delay or take a career change or even sacrifice their career trajectory totally for the marriage, a lot of times the men are not willing to do that. Is that something you think is true? So that, the man could actually, I rarely see that happen anyway.
Well, in our case, when she joined me, she had quit the job to come, not quit, as for leave of absence. So she came, and unfortunately she couldn't work as a teacher because of the requirements that we had over there. And so she had to do a bit of struggling, as it were, to supplement what we were getting.
Right.
And of course, keep her busy also, because it's a bit boring living there alone. And but in the end, when I finished and I was coming, she had already started a master's program.
Okay.
And so the question was whether I was going to stay on or leave and come, and she would continue to finish so that she could join me. So she doesn't just abandon the course.
Right.
So I decided to come with our boy, with our little child, and she stayed over to let me finish there, so she could continue and finish before she came. So in our case,
hand go.
We accepted the fact that she had to do this course. So we have to help in that sense.
I can tell you a beautiful story.
Please tell me.
From our own friends. His wife was more academically oriented.
Right. She liked school.
Yes. Okay. She had, certificates. Yeah. But there was this program, PhD program, that she was very interested in. And I think Australia also. And it required a lot of money. She had gone for interviews and everything, but we needed money. This husband went to the extent of telling the wife, "Oh, our car is there.
Let's sell it.
Let's sell it."
For the wife's education.
Yes. So they sold it. And she was able to go. And she's now back, a big woman in Accra. And the man sees her
and he's proud.
Proud and happy. It's not, I'm sorry, it's not every man, because in school, I've also witnessed the other.
Exactly. I mean, I know someone who's risen in a career, transferred to head a whole department or branch somewhere else, and it's a big problem for her in the home. Why does that often create problem for the men? Is that the trend? Would you say it's something that happens often, or is it a few cases?
Well, it depends on who the understanding that they may have of what marriage is. Marriage is living, becoming one. What you have is hers, what she has is yours. If that understanding doesn't come, and we have this old, shall we say, thing in our traditional culture, the money of the man belongs to the two of them, but that of the lady belongs to her or her family. That the idea also of that if how do I put it?
Whatever she gets then becomes her family's,
Yes.
and not for the two of you.
If you gain something, you get something. Trying to find the correct expression.
Yeah, like this.
Yes.
Yeah, get you.
Trying to get the correct expression.
Right.
But the other half is that if the woman goes into debt,
Yes.
then it's the responsibility of the man.
Uh-huh.
But not when there's something.
Then it becomes a challenge.
Then it's not. If she gets something,
Yeah.
then it's not for everybody.
Everyone.
But
So
if
then
she
there's
goes
no
into
need
debt,
allowing her to get it or
but
agreeing
if
for
she
it.
gets into debt, then
Uh,
it's the husband's responsibility. That's the
think
whole
Yeah.
traditional idea. That kind of idea.
we should move
And
from
it will
that.
be going to
So-
her family.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you are thinking of your nephews and nieces. I mean, traditionally.
I get that. I get that. I want you to touch on parenting and how you raise your children. I'm sure if it's not just one and there's two or there's three, each of them has their own personality traits and they all come with their own baggage. But sometimes parents make it so obvious who their favorite is, and it can lead to people growing up to become maladjusted. They have different views of their parents, especially when there is a divorce there. Na yɛ basa koraa. So, how did you go about your parenting roles?
Yeah, because we started together in a foreign country with one child, and we got to work together in trying to bring him up. It was something we carried back. And when we have the second, the third, they were for the both of us. And so we had the responsibility of bringing them back together, sharing the responsibilities, like sharing, changing diapers, and
did all that?
carrying them to school and things like that. So it helped the children also know that we are together.
Yeah.
And as they've grown up, they look back
Okay.
without any bitterness in
Right.
that sense. Yes.
Okay.
It was a shared responsibility. And you see, I keep going back to based on the word of God. And as they grew up, one thing we did not to let anyone feel he's different from was this family, some call it altar.
Okay.
Every day.
Every day?
Yes, every day.
Before start of day or end of day?
Every morning.
Okay.
And I give him the credit.
Right.
Because somewhere along the line, we've been doing this on our own.
Right.
Even in the US. And before we married, we each had our own, thing with the Lord.
So quiet time.
Yes.
It's very important.
Crucial. The one who brought you together, we should honor. And it was even more intensive when you were alone with the firstborn.
Okay.
Morning, we had this deep quiet time. We had yours, then we had ours together.
Oh.
And then in the evening, we had
Okay.
this other daily power we shared, which was more relaxing.
Right.
So when we came, we were doing the same, but we realized the children should also get involved. So we could leave them that legacy, as
I see.
Deuteronomy says.
Right.
And so one day, before I realized, he had put his chair by the main entrance. Obiamra. And so it became a fashion. You can't leave home without the family devotion.
Wow.
And to make all feel the same, it wasn't like he being the prophet, the preacher. You know, with time, if he realizes you can read, he will ask you to read this verse. So
Right.
we go together.
Right.
And with time, if he thinks you can pray, you join in the prayer.
I see.
With time, if he thinks you are there, you can lead, he will sit back. It was some mentoring, still in the primary,
Right.
but leading them on, mentoring them. And instead of having group counseling, individual counseling, I mean, because of what we were reading together.
It was speaking to people without even you having to
was-
address them. I see.
Like Joseph and Potiphar's wife. You know, we are all reading it together. So you, the teenage boy, do I need to tell you that this is
It
what
informs you on what to do. That's very important. So, I mean, I want to ask you in particular. When I was coming, I was excited about it. I was telling everyone who would hear that I was coming to talk to you too. And I spoke to someone about my coming, and this person I know particularly has a troubling marriage, right? And then the response was like, oh, they talk about trust, forgiveness, communication, blah, blah, blah. We've heard all that. It appears that when it comes to knowledge, we have a lot of knowledge and we even know what to do and what not to do. But it seems, as much as we have the knowledge, things are not working. Why is that?
Well, knowledge alone is not enough. There should be a commitment to put that knowledge to use, into practice. You may know a lot. There are many people who know a lot about what the Bible says and all that, but there is no desire or commitment to see that this is something that God wants them to do, to practice, to live by. So knowledge alone is not enough. There should be that commitment to put that knowledge or accept that knowledge as for you and to put it into practice with God's help, of course, because we can't do it on our own. But there should be that acknowledgement of the need to make use of that knowledge for yourself.
And it takes a will. You should will. It's not easy if you have a spouse, like, okay, they say wives, well, it says submit to each other, and then it says wives, submit to your husband. Husband, love your wife. And God forbid, what your husband is doing is not worth that's,
Submission. We didn't say him.
Oh. And then he's saying, I want my morning coffee in bed, in addition. I mean, after all that is going on, you know, and it can go on and on and on. But there are true cases. In fact, this particular case, she willed to submit. And so, instead of the instant coffee, instant tea, that morning she prayed. She prepared a real brewed beverage and took it to the husband. That was the difference.
End of story.
That was the difference.
I see. Some say that, look, this submission question has been very often, I don't know if you're on social media though, but every now and again, submission comes up and they're like, why should the woman submit to the man? It's like, it's patriarchal, it's something, it's like, it's oppressive, it's all that kind of thing. And the man is not worthy of you being submissive to if he doesn't remove chop money, if he doesn't do that. And what's really with this submission question, and why is it such a big
It should be understood that this is not something, should I say, natural, humanly possible. In other words, it's in the context of Christian marriage.
Okay.
Outside that, people say it's impossible,
Yeah.
or it's not realistic.
Okay.
But if it is in the context of Christian marriage, then the word is that we should submit one to another.
Right.
To start with, verse 21 of Ephesians 5.
Right.
And then before it goes on to talk about wives submitting to their husbands.
So it starts from one to another.
Yes, and before it comes to wives submitting. But in the context of the wives, he says, as the church submits to Christ, who gave himself, sacrificed his life for the church. And he says that the husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church, sacrificing himself for the church. So it's a mutual thing. One has a responsibility to love to the extent of sacrificing his life for being willing to do that for the wife. And then the submission comes in. And the submission to a head, a leader, is not necessarily a sort of dictator boss picture, but a leader. In any situation, you need a leader.
Right.
In a classroom, you need a class leader. In a school, you need a school prefect. And in submitting to the husband, you are accepting that you have a leader who will take responsibility also for your welfare and for your
That works.
Yes.
That works. What makes a beautiful home? I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, I want to have a very peaceful, beautiful home, lovely spouse, lovely kids, everything. What makes a beautiful home?
I can start with the theory, which
which I've already outlined.
he has already applied. Christ, the head, the husband, and the wife, then the children, being shared responsibility. And when all these go together in the Lord, there will be hitches, but at least you know the one to tend to. So if the head is not doing what Christ has commanded him to, I'm told that I should submit as unto the Lord. So I can tell the Lord, because you say so, help me to submit. I leave the rest to you. And I just gave an example where obeying just one brought, later this lady became the deputy CEO of the company.
I see, co-founder.
Yes, because of this one small thing. And when this happens, and the children also know that they can't go behind daddy to bully mommy. They can't go behind mommy to bully daddy, because daddy will first ask what I did, it becomes, and also this, I told you about the family altar.
Yes.
Times of sharing, times of encouragement, times of communicating, not just expressing our love before the children, but also not just disciplining them, but also loving them. They'll be happy to come home. It's not to tell you what the issue is. Even among them, so you see, I talk too much. For example, when Amma was young, our last food. 1 teaspoon, I'll be chasing her just to swallow this teaspoon.
Ama, you really troubled mommy.
You know, and we'll go to the child clinic and they'll be bullying me. And Kasanchi, educated people who can't, and to the extent of taking me to the Kwashiorkor clinic.
Wow.
Because the child was underweight, forgetting that she was a preemie before she got to that age. So I was doing everything I could. Like Coco, I would beat egg into it so that the few spoons that get into her mouth. Why am I saying this? Not knowing her older brother was sucking. What makes her happy? So he was quite rebellious.
Right.
And so I asked, you give her preference all the time. And if the communication does not go on well, so I gave her a gist of what the situation, and he became even a supporter. So naturally, if the communication, the love, the sharing, and the bonding goes on, we are not perfect, but they too will grow and we will grow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a very beautiful something.
Wow.
It's actually called Beauty 101. They're beauty products. Yes. So, my friend Nuam Fanon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
For us too.
We are praying it will help.
It definitely will. Definitely will. Thank you so much. Okay. So you heard us talk to Dr. Samuel and Mrs. Agnes Boadi-Siaw. We've come to their beautiful home in Cape Coast, and look, they gave us some nice lunch here, and I'm telling you, it was lovely. And we are very grateful we could spend time and talking to their wisdom. Hope has been helpful for you. Want to thank Beauty 101 for the lovely present. And then Duo Ghana, they made me this shirt just for this interview. You won't believe it. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And then my friends at Global Wings Travel and Tour, they helped us get here.
Okay.
So we beat the Kaswa traffic because of that. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Do subscribe and all those things YouTube people tell you to do. Do some for me as well. See you again.